Representative Joyce Beatty arrested in a voting rights protest. She is chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, was arrested yesterday. The arrest occurred after she participated in a small protest alongside activists such as Tamika Mallory and others that marched on the Hart Senate office building. Why? Because they're standing up for voting rights. The individuals who are passing laws against it are not. In the congregation that gathered in the lobby of the building, protesters chanted, "End the filibuster and let the people vote." Yes, end the filibuster and let the people vote. So here's the great political debate happening right now. And it is such an unfortunate debate. There are people who are willing to protect the right of filibuster rather than your right to vote. Think about how insane that is. The filibuster is not a constitutional construct. The filibuster is not a constitutional mandate. The filibuster isn't even statutory, meaning it's not law. The filibuster is a Senate rule. It is a rule that governs their activities inside of the US Senate. That rule can be suspended temporarily, or the rule can be done away with. Well, the debate right now, and I don't care how they try to frame it, here's what the debate really is. Are you going to stand up for the right to filibuster more so than you stand up for American citizens to vote? That is the decision you have in front of you. Every single lawmaker in DC, they have that one decision right now. Are you standing up for the filibuster, or are you standing up for people's right to exercise their vote in this democracy? The protest effort, according to Representative Beatty, was to send senators a message and calling on them to pass the For the People Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. We've talked about both of those acts extensively on Indisputable. The group spent about 20 minutes in the lobby before Capitol Police delivered several warnings to clear the area and then finally began detaining people. Do I have to say it? Do I have to say it? The Capitol Police, they lock her up. The Capitol Police, they arrest others. But the Capitol rioters, they got to go home. They were not detained. They were pleaded with. They tried to reason with them. They backed away from them. They said, don't do this, and gave them room. But the protesters, the lawmaker, you go to jail. You get these handcuffs. Any irony there? Beatty was the first to be arrested, followed by others. Let me go to the video. Okay, the Congresswoman said in a Twitter post, I stand in solidarity with Black women and allies across the country in defense of our constitutional right to vote. We have come too far and fought too hard to see everything systematically dismantled and restricted by those who wish to silence us. Be assured that this is just the beginning. This is our power, our message. Here's some details about that protest. Thursday's rally was part of an event called Speak Out, Call to Action Day on Capitol Hill, according to a release from Beatty's office ahead of the protest. According to the USCP, officers arrived at the scene of the protest in the Hart Senate office building at approximately 3:30 p.m. after reports of illegal demonstration activity. I mean, wait a minute. So at 3:30, you get this report. Well, at 3:30 you arrive, minutes after you get the report that this protest is happening. Let me do the math here. It took 4 to 6 hours for backup to respond to the terrorists at the Capitol, but it took you all minutes to respond to Black people protesting about voting rights. And the black people who were protesting about voting rights were actually protesting peacefully about voting rights. But it took you minutes to respond to that and make arrests, but hours for backup to come to arrest white terrorists terrorizing the United States Capitol. Damn, the irony is staggering here. After officers arrived on the scene, they warned demonstrators 3 times to stop. Those who refused were arrested, the USCP said in a statement. The Capitol Police said the group was arrested for violating a DC law that prohibits crowding, obstructing, or whatever that is, incommoding. Okay, did the terrorists get charged with that too? Because I haven't seen that on any of the charge dockets. I've seen unlawful protest and some obstruction, but all of these charges, I haven't seen them. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. Here's another video.
Representative Beatty, how do you explain to people what they saw on January 6th and what they're seeing tonight? You being arrested within minutes of entering that vast lobby where you are harming no one?
Well, thank you, Lawrence, for having me on. I think it's quite simple. What we see is the disparity of treatment. We see the disparities when it comes to Black Americans and majority Americans. As you said, we were there protesting, but the rules of engagement change, or the responses to the rules of engagement are different. We were warned that there was a warning and that after 3 warnings, we would be subject to being arrested. Well, as you saw, we were in our movement, in our moment. We felt like John Lewis and Martin Luther King, when they organized and protested, it made a difference. And that's why we were there. But it is a difference. We saw and witnessed. I was there on January the 6th, and we know what happened then and what didn't happen. Another reason we need to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. That's the only way we can make a change. When we get more people registered to vote without voter suppression, that's why we have the John Lewis Voting Rights Act.
Well said. Stand by your constitutional rights.